Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Tuesday, July 18th. What a day it has been. I'm so happy that we have some updated information on Madalina. I know I just went live last night to chat about the possible sighting of Madalina in California. And then today we get exciting news and renewed hope for Madalina. So it's a huge day for us. Super excited. Welcome everyone down in chat. Hey, Sluggy. Hey, Sarah Jean. Hey, Elm. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back on board tonight. The news today was just so exciting and really made me feel like, that possible sighting in California could legitimately be Madalina. It's been such a huge day for the news. I'm going to let some more folks pop into the chat. So we're going to do a review for those who might be new to the case, some background information, and really take in what we know so far, and then bring up this breaking news that came about today. We're going to look at possible new theories. Everyone is welcome to chat with us live. So in order to chat, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It costs nothing. I know there was some confusion last night, but it costs nothing to hit subscribe. Please join us in the chat. And in order to chat, you do have to hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit the like button and also share this with your friends. This case is really popular here on the East Coast. We got to get it booming over in the West Coast. So if you have friends over there that want to join us to learn more about the Madalina case and they're on the West Coast, we would love to have them join us this evening. So send them this link. Make sure they hit subscribe and they can join us in the chat to ask any questions. If you're new to the case, don't hesitate to just ask some questions. I have Sluggy down in chat. And hopefully Juju will be here in just a few minutes or just in a little bit. But she will be joining chat as soon as she can, and she may be able to pop on. And I might, bring up some folks if you want to chat with us tonight. You certainly can. But if you have questions or if you just want to participate in the live chat down below, please don't hesitate to stop, ask questions. That's why we're here tonight. I want everyone to be on the same page to find Madalina. I feel in my heart today that there's just a lot more hope. So this is super exciting for our community and super exciting for those who are close to this case, who've been following it since the first day. So yeah, definitely hit that like button. It'll keep Madalina in the algorithm. So it'll keep her case, more prevalent and in front of everyone's faces. So definitely hit that like button, hit subscribe, share this with your friends, especially if you have friends over there in California or on the West Coast, anywhere that we can spread this live so that we can have more people join us, the better. I know I'm a small channel, but we definitely are making big moves. So super excited about that. We've added more new folks to our Find Madalina Cojocari Facebook group. And if you want all the latest information, that's where to go to get it. So when we're not live, that's where you can find us for sure. So we have some awesome Facebook group members. I see some of you down in chat. Hey, Morgan, thank you so much for everything that you're helping us out with too, and for volunteering to take your time to help us out. So we appreciate you very much for everything that you're doing for us too. So, all right, so let's hop in. Let's talk about the timeline that we know so far. So this is a brief timeline. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details, but I will take us through what we know so far. And then we're going to go over the breaking news that was released today. So up until today, a lot of those search warrants in this case and a lot of that information has been sealed. We knew that we were hopeful that things would be unsealed. I know I mentioned last night that it's rare that they'll unseal information if it has anything to do with a open investigation, especially because they're trying to protect their case. So we were excited to get some updates today. So let's talk about a few things. So Madalina, let's go back in time, November 2022. So that's early in the fall. Madalina was last seen by the public at 4:59 p.m. getting off the school bus. That's where we can see her on camera with her white t-shirt and her backpack with the reflective stripes that we talked about last night. That was on bus camera footage. Madalina was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, jeans, and pink, purple, and white Adidas shoes. And it seems to match exactly what she had on when she was on the school bus. Okay. Also keep in mind that the stepfather, Chris Palmetter, he was stating that he last saw Madalina a week prior to this, the week of November the 21st. And that would have been back on November 16th is what we are supposedly in the know of, right? So at any rate, she gets off the bus Monday, the 21st. That's where we capture her on camera. And then Madalina is absent from school starting November the 22nd all the way through the end of the year. Okay. So she hasn't been back to school. No one's seen her since the 21st. So on the 22nd, we got an update on the case back in January. On January the 5th, investigators determined that Diana was possibly in Madison County, North Carolina at some point from November the 22nd through December the 15th, which seems to match up with the information that we got today. And Madison County, North Carolina, that is near the Tennessee border. It's in Marshall, North Carolina, and she was seen or spotted at Lonesome Mountain Road pull off allegedly. So, definitely matches up with some of the things that we've heard today. So Thanksgiving break takes place, and that is for the school district here in our local school district. The Thanksgiving break is the 23rd of November through the 25th of November. So on the 23rd, Diana, the mom, stated that she last saw Madalina at 10 p.m. and Madalina was going to bed. She had mentioned to authorities early in the investigation that she had stayed up late with Chris Palmetter, the stepdad, and they had an argument. And after that argument, he left for Michigan. We determined that he left for Michigan probably the morning of the 24th, if not late that night on the 23rd. So again, Diana indicated that she last saw Madalina going to bed at 10 p.m. on the 23rd before she had an argument with Chris. So on the 24th, Diana stated that she had woken up and not felt well. And some of the chats that she's had with her parents felt like she could possibly be sick with something, whatever. And she woke up later that morning, and then she went to check on, she supposedly went to go check on Madalina in her room around 11:30 a.m. And that was on November the 24th. And that's when she said that she discovered that Madalina was missing. Okay. So again, at this point, we think Chris has left for Michigan. She last saw her daughter the night before at 10 p.m. going to bed and has no clue about where Madalina would have gone, but she did indicate that items were missing, such as her backpack and things like that. So, and at this point on the 24th, Diana fails to say anything that to authorities or call police or do anything about reporting her daughter missing. Okay. So, on Friday the 25th, Thanksgiving break again, we believe Chris is in Michigan and possibly Diana is in Madison County. Saturday, November 26th, Diana had stated that Chris returned from Michigan, and that does align with what Christopher's story indicates as well. So on the 26th, that Saturday after Thanksgiving, Chris and Diana seem to be at home together. They're questioning each other about whether or not they have, quote, hidden Madalina from one another. So we don't know if that's true or not true. But on November 27th, the neighbors in their neighborhood started to report that they were burning things in their backyard fire pit. And we're not talking a huge fire pit, guys. We're just talking a small backyard fire pit. Okay. And so again, speculation is going to be huge in this case because we really don't know what authorities have found that they were burning in the backyard. So it could have been, I think we have all determined that it's like couch cushions, things like that. Okay. So they're burning things in the backyard at all hours of the night. Okay. So that started again November 27th. That's what the neighbors indicated that they were seeing in the neighborhood. Okay. So the burning in the backyard continues, and Madalina is still absent from school all the way through the last of November. So when the kids came back to school on November 28th, Madalina's absent and there's burning in the yard. Okay. So the local, we had talked to a local in the case who was who worked locally at a shop there. And the last time that she remembers seeing Madalina in her store was sometime between November 18th and November 20th. So that all aligns with that November timeline, right? So we've covered November. The 21st, she was last seen publicly getting off the school bus. We have the bus camera footage, and everyone's stories seem to start, going awry starting on the 22nd, 23rd of November. Okay. Now, the local that we talked to who was close to the family did also confirm for us that she saw Chris Palmetter, which is the stepdad, and Diana in her store together or separately between November the 22nd and December the 15th. And remember, December 15th, we'll get to that in a minute, but that was when Diana reported Madalina missing. So let's go to our November timeline and let's chat about that a little bit. So in December, Madalina continues to be absent from school. Okay. The interview that we have with the local, also, by the way, Sluggy, make sure you put your link in there for sure, but it's amazing interview. You guys should really check it out. It's on Sluggy's channel. And she talks all about her encounters with that family, and y'all would be literally shocked. It's one of the best interviews we've had in the case so far, but definitely get that checked out if you haven't listened to it. So in December, again, we're thinking that Diana could be in the mountains. The authorities believe that she was there, again, anytime between November 22nd all the way until possibly December 11th time frame. And there's a reason behind why we determined that as our group, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But all of this time, so November the 27th, all the way until they were arrested, the burning in the backyard continued, which is bizarre, right? So the neighbors are seeing this. It's raising some red flags for sure. And we have confirmed that the fire chief there in town did go out to their house. And it was confirmed that he went out and that Diana was acting really suspicious, didn't want them to put the fire out, things of that nature. And that was confirmed with the investigators in the case. And again, we don't know exactly what was burned, but we do know that Madalina continued to be absent from school in December. And on, let's see, what date was it? Madalina was still missing from school. So on Monday, December the 12th, that's when the school resource officer and the counselor went to Maddie's home. Because she had been absent. It's not like her to be absent, but they went to her house to check on things to see if anyone was there. And also they noted that there were cars in the driveway and that no one answered the door. So people were home, but not opening the door. So at that point, they did leave a truancy packet there at the door for, the parents, because obviously in North Carolina, once you've missed like 10 consecutive days of school, you are then truant from school. And Madalina is at an age where they're required to attend, and there's truancy laws in our state. So they did the right thing by going to the school. Now, Madalina continued to be absent, but we do see back in the previous, early days of the case, that it came out that on December the 13th, Diana called her sister in Moldova. and was telling her what was going on. The sister called her again on or Diana called her sister again on December 14th and basically told her sister more about what was going on and things like that. And the sister had advised Diana to call authorities to report Madalina missing. But again, burning in the yard is still going on, etc. And so at that point, on Wednesday, December 14th, Diana called the school back, and says, hey, I got a truancy packet or whatever, and talked to the counselor and scheduled an appointment to come into the school. And she said, this is the most important part, with Madalina. Okay. Now, so she scheduled this appointment for the next day on December 15th. Okay. So December 15th, we get to, that's that Thursday, December 15th. Again, Madalina's not at school. Diana had scheduled the appointment with the counselor. Now, Diana upheld her deal about going to the school. She kept her appointment, but she gets to the school, no Madalina. Madalina is not with her. Although when she talked to the counselor the day before, she told the counselor, yes, I'll be there. I'm bringing Madalina with me. Okay. So she gets to the school, no Madalina. All right. So she starts talking to the counselor. So the counselor is meeting with her, and Diana's talking to the counselor about things. At a certain point during this discussion, things were going down a path that the counselor was like, ho, we got to stop this conversation. We got to reel it back because things are sounding really suspicious. So she pulls the school resource officer in on this discussion. So long story short, if it weren't for the school, Madalina would have never been reported missing, which is crazy to me because obviously I don't think they planned this out well at all, because they just didn't really realize, I guess, what the truancy laws were in our state. But she's enrolled in a public school here in North Carolina. Obviously people are going to be checking up on this kid, right? So she's not there at school. They could have done a lot of things differently if they were really thinking about it, but I don't think they even registered the fact that this was going to be an issue. So on December 15th at the school, the resource officer says to Diana, you got to get the stepdad here immediately, get him on the phone. And that's when they actually formally reported that Madalina was missing. So that's December 15th. So it was a good, 21 to 22 days, I believe it was, that she was not at school and was missing and no one knew it. Okay. Now we obviously realize that Diana and Chris know what's going on. Obviously they knew exactly what was happening, but obviously they're not telling anybody. So that was December the 15th. December 16th comes around. That's that Friday. The burning in the backyard had still continued, and Madalina had been reported missing the day before. And that's important because of what we learned today. And we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But then on December the 17th, that is that Saturday, Chris was arrested. And then 12 hours later, Diana was arrested for felony failure to report a missing child. They were both seen in court on December the 20th, a few days later. And that is when prosecutors state that Diana was interfering with the investigation. They had their bond set initially. Diana's bond was $250,000 and Chris's bond is $200,000. On the 21st, the police returned to the home and they did remove evidence. So they were at the home, I believe it was that Sunday, the 18th, if I'm not mistaken, and they did a search of the outside of the home. That's when they collected samples from the fire pit that was in the backyard and all of that good stuff. So they did, the majority of their search was outside. Now, when they initially went to the house, it was on the 15th of December. The police went to the house. As soon as that child was reported missing, the Cornelius Police Department, they were on it. They went to the house. And when they were first in the house, what was also really suspicious was the fact that there was this plywood blocking the kitchen from this back room. When they initially saw this, they asked Christopher Palmetter about it, and they said they were, quote, building an apartment onto their house or something, but there were no permits for that either. So that was really suspicious, and it was really suspicious to investigators as well. So again, on December 21st, they returned back to the home. There is footage of that. I believe it's on Queen City News. They have the best footage of that search. They were there the whole time. And you can see that they spent a lot of time in the upstairs bedroom on the front of the house. You can see them going in and out. They took a lot of things out of the house, which is what we have been really wanting to know, what they, took out of that house. But the search warrants, of course, have been sealed this whole time. So we don't really know, other than the iPhones, we don't know anything else that was taken out. So that was the only thing that wasn't redacted when they released the initial search warrants on the case. But as far as we know, no plywood was ever removed from the home or anything like that. But on the 22nd of December, that's when we hear from Christopher Palmetter's side of the family. They sent a letter, and it was shared on the media as well. All of this can be found, all these links and items can be found on our Facebook page on Where is Madalina Cojocari. So if you've missed all of this or want to see any of those items from early on in the case, definitely go and check it out there. It's worth your time to take a look at it. So that's our initial timeline. That's what we initially came to know. And from there, things just got even more weird. So this whole time, let's see, so they're arrested, they're in court. They go back into court in January. And at that point in time, they will then come to find out that they will have an agreement that Diana could only be released. She has to give up, they both have to give up their passports, and they both would be, Christopher made a deal with the judge too, that he wouldn't mind wearing the electronic, tracking device. Diana, that was a part of her bond anyway. So long story short, they've never made bond. They're still in jail. They've never made their way out of jail, and they continue not to cooperate in this investigation. So that's important too, based on what we know. Now in March, Diana, Madalina's mother, she was caught in jail with controlled substances, which turned out to be allegedly cocaine and fentanyl. And her bond was increased by an additional $5,000. So that's what we know so far. So the case was supposed to be seen several times, and it's been extended out until August the 27th, if I'm not mistaken. So they're both supposed to report to court again in August. Now, this whole time, everything's been sealed up. They haven't released anything to the public until today. Okay, so let's talk about things today. Let me check our chat first. I definitely want to see what's going on in chat, answer any questions that you might have about things early on in the case. So if you're just joining us, welcome, welcome. Don't forget, hit that like button. That'll keep Madalina's face, name, and case in the algorithm, and so other people will see that. We're definitely trying to push her case now more than ever, because the possibility of Madalina being alive is strong. It is, based on what we've learned today, we really have true hope that she will be found, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But if you want to participate in our live chat, now's a good reminder while we're stopping to break a little bit. Hit that like button, keep it in the algorithm, and then hit that subscribe button. So if you have questions or want to chat with us tonight, all opinions are welcome. Just keep it respectful. We're here to toss around theories and things like that, especially now that we know a little bit more about the case. So again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and jump into chat with us. I've got Sluggy in chat, and hey, Juju, I'm so happy you made it. Juju's also down in chat, and they're my partners in crime, and they will be helping out answering your questions and things like that if I missed them. But definitely get your questions in there, and it's going to get exciting. So the plan is, in the next 30 minutes, we're going to pause and jump over to WCCB. They have promised that they're going to share their latest at 10 p.m., and we can watch their news together at 10 p.m. to see what they have to say. So let me check our chat to see if there's any questions or anything going on. Let's see. Yes, the sighting after the news from today, after the breaking news today, the sighting in California really seems so much more believable and so much so very possible for sure. And I know we went over that last night. We pulled up, Weaverville, California, and compared it to Weaverville, North Carolina, and they're eerily similar places, right? They look very similar. If you were on chat with us or participated in our show last night, you've got to go back and watch it if you haven't, because let me tell you, it's the two are very similar. So if you were an 11-year-old in Weaverville, California, it looks a heck of a lot like Weaverville, North Carolina. So if you missed that, you got to go back and watch that for sure. All right, let's see. Thanks, Sarah Jean, for sharing everywhere. That's super important. We're trying to reach anyone that you might know on the West Coast for sure, because the possibility of her being out there on the West Coast is huge. So if you know anyone, share our live, have them join us tonight, share Maddie's flyer, get it out there everywhere. Let's see. Yes, Jessica's interview, like I mentioned a little bit ago, if you haven't seen it, you got to go over to Sluggy Sleuths after our live tonight or tomorrow and really listen to the interview with Jessica. Jessica is the local that worked with them, was a personal shopper with them, and the things that she had to say. So back in our timeline early on, what we learned was that Diana and Christopher were seen in her store smooching it up. Lots of PDA, didn't act like anything was wrong. Madalina's not with them. And the thing that really killed us about that interview, what we learned was that they were ready with lies about where Madalina was. They were prepared. It was she's at a school event or she's at a sleepover or any, things like that. But Jessica had grown really, really close to Madalina in the years that they've lived there. She's watched her grow up. And if it weren't for Jessica, I don't think we would have really known about who Madalina is as a person, because she wasn't really, her best friend had moved away a few years ago. And it's just heartbreaking, the fact that no one really knew who she was as a person outside of like her school friends. Her school friends have nothing but really lovely things to say about her, which is so sweet. So definitely go watch that interview because you'll learn a lot. It's pretty shocking. Let's see, what do we got? What else is in chat? Let's see. Oh, good. So like you put the link in our chat, so you don't have to go searching for it. So if you want to watch that, you can. Right. So who doesn't report their kid missing? That was the biggest thing. I mean, she was missing forever before. I mean, if it weren't for the school guys, Madalina would never have been missing or reported missing it ever. Let's see. Yes, I really believe in my heart that Maddie is alive for sure. Oh, Elm, that's sweet. Elm says that she always felt like Madalina was alive and her son was convinced otherwise, but she keeps sending him these updates. So thank you for that. That's super, super important to keep faith and hope alive for sure. I mean, I know that Sluggy, Juju, and I have all been super close to this case since the very beginning. As a matter of fact, that's actually how we all became friends, was through this case. So it was super, super important for us to just, we've been thinking and praying about Maddie this whole time. It's super close to me for sure because I'm from there. Grew up around there, and it's just things like this really, you don't hear about it very often in our small town. So it does break our hearts to know about what's happening, but we've been praying for everywhere, and the whole community as a whole has really come together for Madalina, which is, hope right there enough. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Elm, for sharing. That's awesome. Okay. So, and also, yeah, last night we had mentioned there was a good update as well. So we haven't heard much from the family, and then last night we actually got our hands on a post that came from Christopher's side, I believe Christopher's side of the family. But it was a family member who posted this, and I want to read it because if you haven't seen The Sound of Freedom, you got to watch it. I know I haven't seen it yet, but I have some friends who've seen it, and we can't wait to we all need to watch it. But this is what the family member posted. I'm not going to give her name just out of respect for their family, but this is what the post said that we got our hands on last night. It says, "We watched the movie The Sound of Freedom last night. I have felt so much anxiety getting ready to go to this movie. Anxiety because this movie is about the huge prevalence of human trafficking in our world. It is all around us. I felt anxiety because I believe this is the most terrifying possibility of what may have happened to my niece, Madalina, who still sadly has not been found. It's terrifying that this is one of the fastest growing, quote, industries, and babies, children, and adults are commodities to be bought, sold, and used over and over again. I pray that this is not what happened to Madalina, but the thought is horrifying. Please, if Madalina is out there, then sharing her beautiful face with the posters and flyers may help to bring her safety. 8 months missing. We will not stop. The only thing that can bring peace or justice is for Madalina Cojocari to be found." So that again was from a family member, and it was heartbreaking to hear that last night for sure. But again, if you haven't seen The Sound of Freedom, we all need to watch it. I know Juju has seen it, and she said it's definitely worth whatever you need to pay to get it and watch it. So okay, so let's talk about what happened today. So I wanted to give a little bit of history on the case first before we jumped into what we learned today, because we do have so many new members in our Facebook group. I think we had more join. I think 55 have joined in the past week and a half. So welcome to everyone who's new. I'm super happy to have everybody. So I just wanted to briefly go over what we know first, because it makes this new breaking information even more exciting, especially for those who've been with us from the beginning. So I want to start with, I believe it's channel 9. Yeah, I'm going to start with channel 9. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys, or channel 3. I think I'll start there. All right, so I'm going to share this with everyone and play this breaking news clip first.
Today, in the search for Madalina Cojocari, her mother reportedly believes the young girl was sold by her husband, that being Madalina's stepfather. Thanks for joining us. First at 4, I'm Siobhan Bryan.
And I'm John Carter, and we've gotten our hands on nearly 24 court documents, all of them search warrants, detailing some of what police are investigating in their search for missing Madalina.
So you'll remember Madalina, who's from Cornelius, was last seen in November, but her parents are accused of not reporting her missing for nearly a month. That's why they're now in jail.
And WBTV's Lowell Rose has been covering this investigation for months. He's brought us so much interesting and in-depth information. So he's joining us now live with these new details coming out today. Lowell?
Well, John and Siobhan, the revelations in this case came from Diana Cojocari, the mother, doing a jailhouse phone call. Now, this stack of court documents gives light to the new details in this case. Investigators searched through phone records, bank accounts, and the social media accounts of both parents. New search warrants show during recorded jailed phone calls to her brother and sister-in-law. Christopher Palmer mentions Diana Cojocari had a lot of cash with her, and he did not know where it came from. Chris says there's financial stuff coming up, and his brother tells him not to worry about the financial stuff. According to search warrants, Diana Cojocari discussed a similar incident with her mother, Radhika. The warrant says the woman discussed a bag with money, withdrawing cash, and a theory that Chris gave the girl away for money. After the noted phone calls, the court issued a search warrant for financial records. As investigators have looked for Madalina, they've had help from inside Mecklenburg County Detention Center. Cornelius police had Palmer housed with a confident informant who, according to the warrants, told investigators Mr. Palmer was often in the housing pod writing in his journal. The DEA CI reported Chris told him he's remembering the events regarding Madalina and was writing the recalled events down. The warrants say it's believed Palmer takes notes to remember simple tasks along with journaling his thoughts and opinions. The informant told investigators a search of defendants Christopher Palmer's housing unit could locate a notebook or journals that may be helpful in locating and leading to information on the disappearance of Madalina Cojocari. Now, those search warrants revealed that several documents were seized, ranging from notebooks, papers, and envelopes, based on that tip from the informant inside Mecklenburg Detention Center. Now, I had at 5, I'm digging deeper more into these search warrants, which reveals there could be a connection to Sugar Mountain in the disappearance of Madalina Cojocari. That's Renown reporting live from Mecklenburg County Courthouse. Lowell Rose, WBTV. On your side.
Just the possibility just sends chills down your spine. Lowell, thank you. Looking forward to that report. Now, we sent out an alert about these new unsealed search warrants on the WBTV News app, and we'll, of course, continue to keep you updated on every new detail in this investigation on air and online at WBTV.com.
Okay, so
aesthetics are an important part of.
Let me pause that again. Okay, so this was updated after a little after that news break today, about 4 hours ago. So the article indicates that the newly unsealed search warrants in the case of Madalina Cojocari reveal that the missing Cornelius girl was likely spotted in surveillance photos December 16th in Sugar Mountain. The recently uncovered surveillance photos of a child and a man, quote, were physically consistent with the missing girl and her only known blood relative, Octavian. This Octavian guy, he used to live with them in their home. So Madalina would have known him. He would be like an uncle to her, for those that don't know. And he has been living in the United States. He actually has been living down in Florida. So the weird thing about this is we investigated. So the thing about us and advocating for the missing, and we get to dive into other areas that sometimes, authorities can't get to. But we did learn that Octavian wrecked his car. And Sluggy, you'll have to help me out with this. I think it was December 15th, if I'm not mistaken, or it could have been November 21st. It was one of those key dates that really struck us as odd, that his car was wrecked. Now, it doesn't mean that he was driving his car, but his car was wrecked around the same time. So it's one of our key timeline dates. I want to say it was in December, but it could have been November. Just know that this wouldn't have been released. His name wouldn't have been released unless authorities were certain that that's who was with Madalina. It would make sense that she was seen with him and that she would have been comfortable with him because he was like an uncle to her. He used to live with them in their home. She was very familiar with him. So it wouldn't have been abnormal for her to be seen with him in public or going on trips and things like that. So Madalina is actually now 11. She's not 12 years old. Madalina was 10 when she went missing and is now 11 years old. Was last seen publicly November 21st, which is what we had talked about before, getting off of her school bus. Her mother told police that she last saw her 2 days later, but didn't report her missing until December 15th. So that's the part I wanted to go over with everyone first. So that's why it makes all of this a lot more interesting. Now, again, the mom Diana and the stepdad Christopher, they have both been arrested since December 17th, and it's felony failure to report a missing child. Now, let me actually go to NBC or in WCNC News, and I'm going to play that one too because I think they have a little bit more of a different perspective there. So let me jump over here and I will share that next. Let's see. Here we go. All right, so this is from WCNC. Again, they're local news here. And I will play that for everyone after the ad. Okay.
Of 12-year-old Madalina Cojocari, the Mecklenburg County court system releasing newly unsealed documents that could provide more clues into what happened to Madalina. It's been nearly 8 months since the Cornelius girl was last seen publicly getting off of the school bus. Both Madalina's mother, Diana Cojocari, this was actually the last video of her seen publicly, but her mother, Diana Cojocari, and her stepfather, Christopher Palmer, they have been arrested and they've been in jail since December for failing to report her disappearance. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre live in Uptown. So Jesse, after combing through dozens of search warrants, what can you tell us? Did this reveal anything that will help us, I'm hoping, get closer to finding Madalina?
Well, it definitely revealed several new details. You know, we're talking about 200 pages of documents, and there are several things that stick out. We're talking about recorded phone conversations in jail, finance records looked into, as well as evidence seized from the home, and details on when Madalina was last with her mother. There were also conversations surrounding the idea that Madalina was given away for money.
In police work, all you can do is sift through every piece of evidence, and hopefully it leads you to something that leads you to something else, and so you can conclude what happened to the child.
Where is Madalina Cojocari? That is the question. The Cornelius girl was last seen leaving the school bus on November 21st, but it took weeks before her parents reported her missing. Here's what we can add to the timeline after several search warrants were unsealed. In a text message on December 2nd, Madalina's mother, Diana Cojocari, indicated that she was with her daughter. The next day, December 3rd, Diana was seen at a service station in Hickory, getting an oil change.
Okay, so I wanted to hit pause on that really fast because this is new to that timeline. So if you'll remember a little bit ago, we said that the authorities believe that she was in the mountains in Lonesome Mountain Road and all that in that area anytime between November the 22nd all the way through December 15th. So this matches up with what we had initially guessed would be the case. So this is interesting to find out that she was in Hickory. So Hickory is on the way to the mountains from Cornelius. So her having an oil change in Hickory is fairly odd. I'm not sure why she had to drive to Hickory for an oil change, but to each their own. So it's interesting that new information today indicates that on December 2nd, we know Madalina was alive and that she was with her mother. So what's new and interesting about this is that on December 2nd, she says that she was with Madalina, but on December 3rd in Hickory, while she's getting the oil change, that the people at that place indicated that they did not see a child with her. So I'm going to continue to let the video play.
The attendant told police there were children's toys in the car, but did not see a child around. On December 4th, Diana traveled towards North Carolina mountains, claiming to be searching for Madalina. And on December...
Which is odd that she would be there searching for Madalina, right? So at this point, Madalina was last seen publicly November the 21st. Diana claims that she saw her going to bed the night of the 23rd before she fought with Chris, and that she realized she was missing November 24th. So now December the 4th, apparently she's now in the North Carolina mountains looking for her daughter.
Number 16, Sugar Mountain Police Department provided surveillance photos of a man and a young girl. The man's images were physically consistent with the appearance of a family member of Diana, the only blood relative known to live in the U.S.
Now, Octavian was also the person that Diana spoke with about smuggling Madalina out. And that's why when we do know that there were passports found in Diana's car that police have, in evidence. But it was both of their passports. So Madalina's passports and herself. So that would have been that Octavian guy, which for Madalina is her uncle. And that's also who she apparently was last seen with in Sugar Mountain. Now, what's odd to me is that she says she's with her on December 2nd. And then starting December 3rd, now that's when we know that something has happened. So something happened to Madalina either December 2nd after those text messages, or that was a lie, one or the other. So if she was with her December 2nd, we don't really know that to be the case. But December 3rd, there's toys in the car. She's getting an oil change in Hickory, but again, her child's not with her. And then we know for sure that she's been seen December 16th. So we know there's proof of life December 16th in the mountains. So that's positive.
The young girl appeared to be Madalina.
I think that's the biggest thing. And I would certainly be interviewing that person, looking for other camera video of who he was with that day.
The search warrants also revealed more details from recorded phone calls in jail. Diana discussed a bag of money with her mother, cash withdrawals, and she also told her mother she believed her husband, Madalina's stepfather, Christopher Palmer, gave Madalina away for money. In recorded conversations between Palmer, his brother, and his sister-in-law, he mentioned that Diana had a lot of cash with her, and he did not know where it came from. He also shared some concerns about financial stuff coming up. Law enforcement expert Dr. Roy Taylor says all inmates do know their communications are monitored.
I don't know if it's a effort on both their parts to deny their involvement, and they are both involved, or one's telling the truth and one isn't. And again, it's just going to be a matter of time and looking at the financial records.
Now, banking and credit card documents were also seized. Police looking into any patterns or activity that may link back to Madalina's disappearance. Now, we also learned that the stepfather was housed with an informant in jail. We'll have more on that coming up at 6. Live in Uptown, Jesse Pierre, WCNC Charlotte.
Jesse.
Okay, so since then, we do realize and know that an informant was placed in his pod in jail. And that he wrote in journals. He would document like daily things that he was, supposed to do or whatever. And that the informant had asked him what he was writing down. And Christopher allegedly indicates that he's writing down what he thinks happened to Madalina. We don't know that to be the case, but his journal and any paper that he could have possibly written on in his cell were then seized by the police, which is how we basically know what was going on. So what strikes me as odd is that, so December 15th, that's when Madalina's mom says that she's missing. That's when she was forced basically to say that Madalina had gone missing. So December 16th, that is when Christopher Palmer made another phone call and told, I believe it was his brother and sister-in-law, that they think that Diana and himself have something to do with Madalina being missing, that, Madalina is missing. So that's when I believe his family was made aware of all of this. And so at that point, Madalina, that's the same day on the 16th that she was seen in Sugar Mountain with the uncle. So they probably know exactly what's going on during this time, or something has occurred with the mom and she doesn't realize what's happening. So like the gentleman just said, one or both of them are involved. It's just going to be a matter of time about what's going on. So one or both of them know exactly what's going on, but it's odd that they, on December 15th, she's, missing. She was reported missing and this investigation started. And then the 16th, Chris tells his family about her being missing. They're arrested on the 17th, but now we know for sure that she's seen with the uncle in Sugar Mountain. So, yes, Sluggy, it kills me too. It's like she was right there the whole time. She's been right there the whole time. How did the mom not know? Like she was in the mountains. She was headed towards the mountains. So why are there toys in the back seat? Like what's going on there? Exactly. Why would she not say that she was with her on December 2nd? Unless that was a lie. Unless she lied in whatever text message that she was sending. That does strike me as odd. So I don't know what to even think about that, to be quite honest. It's very odd to me. So, so right now I'm going to pull up WCCB. They have news at 10, and this is probably going to be one of the top headlines. And I wanted all of us to watch it together live as it came out. So let me get that keyed up here in a second. Feel free to chat down in chat. I know Sluggy's down there. Talk away, talk theories. Lots going on. So I'm going to pull up the live on WCCB before I share. But they're going live at 10. So I wanted to be sure that we were all together for that. So yeah, it's very odd that the mom wouldn't have just said, I was with her on December 2nd. The only reason I think that that wouldn't have been the case or that she lied about it is she was lying to whomever she was texting. And maybe she really wasn't with her on December 2nd. And why was she heading towards the mountains, right? Like, and then saying that she was searching for her, but you were just with her, which is, I don't know if I believe that she was with her December 2nd. Sluggy says, I don't think, let's see. I don't think that, yeah, I don't think that she was with her either. And so, yeah, I think Maddie, at this point, I think Maddie was probably with the Uncle Octavian, probably the end of November. I would guess probably November 23rd or 16th, like through the 16th of December. I would agree with that, Sluggy. I would think that that's true at this point. That or November 24th, one of the 2 days. And I think possibly Chris took her to wherever he was, which is why he really left. And then possibly made his trip to Michigan just to turn around to come home. But that would also explain why he was still in the store there locally. But that trip to Michigan, we haven't been able to get firm confirmation that it happened. We have allegedly received confirmation that he did go to Michigan. We didn't get a no, but we also didn't get a confirmed yes. But they were both back in the store, and they were in the store the week of Thanksgiving, according to what Jessica, told us. So that's what I think that she was probably with Octavian, either the November 23rd or 24th through December 16th. And then after December 16th, I think then we're on a wild goose chase. Something happened at that point. Yes, Juju. Yes. This was the worst. So the mom referred to her daughter as, quote, that girl. She didn't call her daughter. That was the weirdest part. That really was cold, like cold-blooded. Like I really was like, ugh. That one was like a gut punch right there. But yeah, she didn't refer to Madalina very warmly. She just referred to her as that girl. Let's see, Morgan says, I personally think Christopher got Diana addicted to drugs and was abusive to both of them. And Diana's drug use got worse and worse. And she didn't give a crap about anything else except drugs. I would agree, except Morgan. If you haven't listened to Jessica's chat, and from what we've known about this case, Diana wore the pants in that family. It didn't seem to be the other way around. And we don't believe that she was being abused. She carried the torch in that family. She ran the show. She scheduled all the things. So that's the only reason I question that at all. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with everybody. It's time for the 10 o'clock news on WCCB. So I'm going to flip it over there so we can all watch together. Okay. So we're just waiting on the live to start. It should start any minute.
It's bow time.
We gonna split this solo?
No. Come on. Split the drive?
No chance.
What are you wearing? Split these?
I thought you'd never ask.
Introducing Bo's Barbecue Chicken Sandwich and Bo's Carolina Gold Chicken Sandwich. Boldly seasoned hand-breaded chicken, topped with pickles, slaw, and your choice of 2 sauces. So good, you'll want to get both and split them with a friend. Download the Bojangles app and order ahead. It's bow time.
Take a minute now, check your swagger. Show me what you got, make it better. Do it like this. Do it like get it, move it, own it.
We'll pause the commercials. I'm sure that's what you all want to watch. All right, let's see. Hopefully it'll come up now.
To our area, I'll tell you what evidence local investigators found here in Chester County.
From Charlotte CW, this is WCCD News at 10.
New information tonight in the case of a missing Cornelius girl, Madalina Cojocari. Thank you for joining us. I'm Morgan
this
Fogarty.
is live
And
news.
I'm Gary Brode. After last being seen on a school bus in November, newly released warrants uncover a disturbing theory about her disappearance. WCCB Charlotte's Emma Mondo is live in Cornelius with what those warrants tell us about the investigation. Emma.
Gary, thank you. Tonight, we uncovered 21 new search warrants that were released to the public today. Now, during the search today, we actually spent hours digging through these, trying to find new information. And some of these bombshells may surprise you.
I think that's very sad.
Warrants released Tuesday in a missing persons case of 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari reveal jaw-dropping information in her disappearance. One of the warrants unveils discussions her mother, Diana Cojocari, and stepfather, Christopher Palmer, had with separate family members recorded on jail phone lines. Palmer discussed supposed, quote, upcoming financial stuff with his brother and sister-in-law, saying he saw Diana with lots of cash leading up to Madalina's disappearance and wasn't sure where it came from. During a call from Diana to her mother, Rosita, they both discussed a bag of money, withdrawing cash, and the theory that Palmer sold Madalina for money.
I really hate if that child is being sold.
Another warrant reveals that a confidential informant placed by the Cornelius Police Department witnessed Palmer writing in a journal every night in his jail cell. Palmer told him that he was writing down everything he remembered about Madalina and the days leading up to her disappearance. Those journal entries, along with envelopes and note sheets, were collected for evidence.
That's very bad, terrible. I think it needs to be looked at.
A third major bombshell was the reveal of the last date Madalina was supposedly seen, a more recent date than that November day on the school bus. A witness said they have surveillance images of someone closely resembling Madalina and her relative, Octavian Sabanu, on December 16th, 2022 in Sugar Mountain.
My hope is she's healthy. She's alive. She's doing well. That's my hope.
Now, as for the next step in this case, we know that Diana Cojocari and Christopher Palmer are both expected to be in court on August 17th for their arraignment hearing. As of right now, they have both only been charged with failing to report the disappearance of a child. Gary?
Emma Mondo reporting live in Cornelius tonight. Emma, thank you.
Okay, so that's what we have. Unfortunately, we were not reached for comment or an interview in this case, but we would have loved to have been. We are trying to get our hands on the documents. We do have a volunteer in our group who actually is going to be able to go get them tomorrow. So we may be going live again tomorrow, but there's 200 pages to go through. So we'll, the team and I will probably go through those as fast as we can once we get a hold of them and look for the new information and get some information together to go live. If not, if we can get through them tomorrow, we'll probably jump on live tomorrow night as well. If not, the following night, so we can keep everyone abreast to what's going on. But a lot of information came out today, a lot of new details, a lot of hope in this case. I really have renewed hope that Maddie is alive based on what we've learned. The sighting in California, I think it's huge. I think it's probable at this point, knowing what we know now. And the things that we were told are so much like, what we would have seen Maddie, here in town and how she was. If you missed the live last night, you got to go watch it again. It was, eerily similar between where she was in North Carolina versus where she could be now in California. But I really think we have renewed hope in terms of finding Madalina alive. So again, make sure you hit the like button. I know we've got new folks in chat. Hit that like button. I know we only have like 2 likes right now. And there's at least 14 of you here tonight in the chat. So keep that like button, hit it really. It'll keep Maddie's case current in the algorithm. So definitely want to do that so we can spread her face and her name now more than ever. It's now, again, I challenged everyone last night to share a flyer, share a picture, but we really got to get it pushed out there, especially to the West Coast, so get her story heard from coast to coast and really push it out there. Let's see. Sluggy, yes, we would have helped them dig through those 200 pages. We're good at that. That's what we do, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I think they both look really rough. Still looking rough for sure. Yes, so Jacqueline, you're correct. Octavian is the same guy that Diana was texting about smuggling Madalina out of, I guess the country or whatnot. So he's also, authorities found him to be in communication with folks in a T3 drug. That's a drug ring for drug trafficking and whatnot. And he had been in communication with the folks that they were they had under investigation. So from what we know, they were able to look into that more. And I believe at this point, we believe that he is out of the country and was arrested in Ireland for an unrelated incident involving having a gun out in public or something like that. So we had learned about that a few months ago, and we do believe that it's the same person, but the dates and things are really confusing there. But yes, Octavian, this is the same guy. I would say that this is not a good uncle. Not a good guy to have around your kids. Just saying. I do think that drugs were definitely involved, and that I do know that narcotics dogs were taken, and they did hit on Diana's car. I believe they said twice. We learned about that a few months ago as well. So I do believe that Diana did have narcotics in that car at some point in time. If they were not hers, they were somebody's. So yes, I think, drugs are definitely involved on some level. And plus, remember, in March, she was found with cocaine and fentanyl while in jail. So she is either addicted or she knows something about selling. She knows something for sure. Let's see. Yeah, once we get our hands on these documents tomorrow, we're going to be going through them as fast as we can. And no one has the current search warrants in their possession right now, except for the media, which we've reached out to the folks that we've been close with in the past, since the beginning of the case. And we haven't heard back from them, but we're not giving up hope. Let's see. Uncle El Chapo. Exactly. Yes, we do have some of our face group members who are pretty local here that have offered and volunteered to go pick those up for us tomorrow morning. I've been in direct communication with a member of our group, and we're working with her. And she's probably going to go grab those for us tomorrow. So we will probably have them by tomorrow afternoon, hopefully. So Yeah, we probably should divide those 20 pages, 30 pages each and go to town, right? What I really want to see are the surveillance photos. That would be really interesting. Yeah, Sluggy. He was arrested in January in Ireland. But based on what we've reviewed, we do think it's the same man. We do think it's the same Octavian. The dates in the article that we got our hands on, one of our group members again found that for us, and we looked at that. The dates are a little rough in that article, and again, it is from another country, so we can't guarantee that it's him, but we have a strong feeling that it is him, same guy. Yeah, you never know. I mean, it could not be, it could go either way. It's just hard when we're getting articles from another country. But based on what we researched, so we dug that pretty hard when we got it. We do think that it's possible. Yeah, reporters don't like to share anything. They're keeping that to themselves so they can release the story snippets at a time. We just want to let you know exactly what's going on. We have the ability to do that and keep the story where it should be in the community. But we do work with the media as best we can. We try to play fair and nice. Yes, Diana. So the calls were made, again, Diana to Octavian were also made December 2nd. And that's when that text message supposedly had gone through too, saying that she was with Madalina. So that was either a lie or something happened to her after December 2nd, which again, we were talking earlier about the fact that if she was really with her December 2nd, why did she tell the authorities that the last time she saw Madalina was November 23rd? That was really weird. Yes, Morgan. So the lady that had actually originally posted that in our Facebook group, she did contact the authorities, and I believe the Cornelius Police Department have already sent someone out there to get footage and talk to authorities and stuff like that. And also remember, the FBI is still involved in this case. So they're probably working on that as well. We hope that they were able to get footage of Madalina or the footage of the gas station. We do know that they do write over those pretty fast. So the lady that posted that is used to working with authorities. And when she left that gas station, it just didn't sit right with her. And she, called authorities. So I believe that they would have already, and she didn't wait days or anything. She did it pretty quickly. So we're going to hope that they do have that footage. Yes, Juju. We do give great interviews, don't we? Yeah. So I know you guys are down in chatting to each other for sure. But yes, Cornelius Police Department has been on top of every tip that they've received about this case. And there's thousands of them, y'all, thousands. So kudos to the Cornelius Police Department for their work and dedication to the case. They have not given up hope, and they have not given up on Madalina. So just respect for them for sure. I know they're exhausted. I know they're just beyond emotionally drained with this case. A lot of them are dads. A lot of them have kids. It hits home. They take this home every day. And I can't imagine how that feels, knowing that a child in our community has gone missing and it can't be with her families. And I know that takes an emotional and mental toll on the police department and the investigators. So kudos to them for not, giving up hope and for, tracking down every tip in this case and being on top of it for sure. So she called him on December 2nd. She was spotted in Hickory the next day. She was seen December 3rd in Hickory getting her oil changed. But that's when the folks at that station or that business didn't see a child. They only saw toys in the car. Yeah, we worked, Morgan. We worked with them to try to trade. We even called them out in our group, but no such luck. We couldn't get our hands on those documents today. They're being stingy. Yeah, that's a good thought, Elm. Elm says because she would have had to tell them she was going to meet Octavian to smuggle her out, and she may have been told by Octavian not to speak a word about the deal, or they could be in danger. So, regardless, I think they put Madalina in danger. But it's odd to me that they were acting like nothing was going on. Everything was happy go lucky. Back in November, for the most part, in the store. I'm talking full on makeout session initiated by Diana. She was the one that led that PDA session in public and stuff, and act like, I know Jessica had said that they were looking like they were just two lovebirds, honeymoon stage of life, just, all about each other, smoochy smoochy, which is disgusting. And they had lies ready about where Madalina was. So we do know that Madalina was not with them at some point in November, which is why I know Sluggy and I believe that she was probably with Octavian starting around November 23rd or 24th. That's our speculation there. Oh, okay, Jacqueline. Jacqueline says there's a Facebook account for the Octavian living in Ireland that is different from the one in Florida. Yeah, we don't know for sure, but based on what we were digging around, it could have been the same. We don't really know how popular that name is either over there. But we'll see. We'll try to find out. Jacqueline, I love your dedication. Trying to figure out how to get the records in Ireland. You go, girl. Work that out. We'll have you up on panel if you find those suckers. Awesome. So yeah, lots of new speculation of, the more that we learn about the case, the more that's released on this case, the more we can actually put those puzzle pieces together, and try to help authorities figure this case out. We want Madalina found yesterday, day before, months ago, to bring her home, and see how much love and care we can provide to her. This whole community wants her found safe. She's supposed to be promoted from 6th grade to 7th grade, enjoying her summer, going to the pool. We know she loved to swim. She loved the beach. She loved the mountains. She loved the pool. She was a little girl, happy, healthy little girl. And I can't imagine what she's been through. If that was her out in California, she's alone at this point. She wasn't with anyone that that anyone saw. And that breaks my heart. We don't know what happened to her. And then let's say she was sold, because of this big, thing with the cash, the bag of cash. If she was sold, who did they sell her to, and why now is she not with anybody now? Is it because she's too old? Is it because she ran away? Something in my heart makes me, feel good about the fact that she actually had a kitten with her, a cat. If you follow the case with us, you've known that, Madalina has a love for cats, but, at least she's got some sort of comfort that she's used to. But at the same time, it's just holding out a whole lot of hope. But I think with this information we received, and it's rare, guys, it is really rare that a child who went missing is seen alive, 21 days later. So that's a renewed hope right there for sure that she could still be alive, and that this could actually be her out on the West Coast. I know we're trying to push this to trucker groups and things like that. Her flyer needs to get out there. So any flyers that you see on our Facebook page, please feel free to share those. They're for you to use. I'm our graphic art designer person who designs most of those posters. So they're free for you guys to use. You guys are welcome to share those anytime. But, feel free to share all of that. So yeah, the fear is that she got away from someone that she was sold to, and then they may have suffered repercussions. Yeah, she may have, but the person that saw her didn't really indicate she was injured or anything. So that's good. Yeah, Juju, that's a thought, that she was sold to for because of a large drug debt or something illegal. Something had to have gone down. I don't know how, as a mother, you allow your child to be sold unless you are that strung out on drugs that you didn't care. But we know that she referred to her as that girl. So did she really, love her? Was she kind-hearted towards her, or was it just a cold relationship at that point? And again, drugs change people for sure. So was it that she just looked at her as like a problem in the marriage or a problem in the relationship, so that when they got rid of her, that's why she was so happy and excited and PDA through the drugstore or through the grocery store or whatever? That's just odd. But yeah, that could have been the case. Yeah, Jacqueline agrees there, Juju, about that for sure. Somehow somehow drugs are involved, y'all. Somehow there's something with drugs. Either Octavian or Chris or Diana, the three of them, something went down. And if that's the only recourse is to sell your child, ugh. Yeah, Elm, it's easy to hide, in the beginning about, the photos and stuff like that. But then, of course, we had COVID that happened. So I don't know what their latest vacation pics were or anything like that. There's nothing we have never been able to confirm or deny that there was anything for Christmas. It was late November. So a lot of people were decorating for Christmas and had trees up and stuff like that. Did they have anything for her? Like what, we don't know any of that information, but photos can be deceiving, a lot of times people look happy and all that in their pictures, but behind closed doors, things are totally different. Yeah. Buying and selling a whole daughter had to be major. It had to be a major debt. I don't know any mother that would have given their child away ever. If anything, they would have died for their kids. But that doesn't seem to be the case in this instance. Yes, lots of prayers are said every day for Maddie. I don't think there's a day that goes by that I just don't think about her, and pray for her and that she's found safe. Yes, Jacqueline, for sure. That they considered her a daughter, not just that girl. That was chilling to me today. It made my stomach drop when I saw that. It's just so disheartening, and I can't imagine what Madalina has been through, or what she had gone through prior to. You never know, and I know kids are resilient, and if we can get her home and get her the help that she needs to recover from this, that's what I pray for every day. Yeah, I cannot imagine. It breaks my heart for sure. So guys, if you want to continue to chat with us, speculate with us, theories, whatnot, we welcome you guys to jump over into our Facebook group. Where is Madalina Cojocari? We can drop the link in here for you. If you're not a member of the group, sign up. Again, it's free to sign up. We've added like 55 members in the past week or so. So join our group. You can get everything from the beginning of this case on. Lots of information, lots of articles and things like that are posted in our group. You can go all the way back to the beginning. And check everything out. Also join our chat. There's a general chat that you can jump into. We have lots of lively discussion in there. And it is, again, respectful discussion, respectful speculation. Not one person is right or wrong in this case, but, healthy debate is always welcomed, but be respectful always to one another. You never know what other people are going through. So we do monitor those chats. And if someone gets out of line or anything like that, they are removed from the group. So don't be afraid to jump in the chat with us anytime. A lot of our members are in chat tonight, and we want to thank you guys for sticking with us. You guys are incredible. This group is incredible, and we continue to grow every day, and you don't know what that means to us. We certainly appreciate that. And we welcome you guys to, continue to keep Madalina's face out there, her story out there, keep it current. So before you leave tonight, I want you guys to all hit the like button on the live. That's going to keep Madalina in the algorithm. It's super important. So I want to see those likes go up. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share this with anyone that you may know on the West Coast. Get Madalina's story out there. We did a really good review the first part of the live tonight. And then now we have updates and everything. The last part of the live and a healthy speculation has been, going on tonight in the chat. And thank you all for being so respectful and keeping things healthy and loving one another and loving Madalina. The love, that says so much. So we're going to wrap things up for tonight. But again, I thank you all for joining us for the second night in a row. Happy to see everyone back. And thank you to everyone. Thanks for Sluggy and Juju for monitoring to our chat tonight and keeping things going. Appreciate you guys so much. And I appreciate all of our group members. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for all that you guys do each day to keep Madalina's name and face and story out there and keeping it alive. If it weren't for you, we couldn't do what we do. So we appreciate you guys so much. And hopefully we'll have more for you by the end of the week. We're going to get our hands on those documents and go through all 200 pages and get that information for you. And we'll get that. We'll get another live set up as soon as we get everything reviewed and go through everything with a fine tooth comb and get things kind of squared away so we can narrow down the timelines and things like that. We'll get a good live update going, and we'll have folks on panel and things like that. So that's all for tonight. I want to again thank every one of you for joining us. I know we ran a little late tonight, but again, I appreciate you, each and every one of you, for joining us. And we will see you soon. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and above all, love one another, respect one another, and thank you for loving Madalina the way that you do. So we're going to wrap it up tonight. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.